Balance, yay! We've got 45 minutes, it's an express version, but it's beautiful. If you're short on time, this 45 minutes will give you the best experience of bliss that you can. We're actually going to start in Shavasana, but with our block for an occipital release, a neck release. If you don't have a block, then you can do a neck release with a towel, like a bath towel-ish, or even if you've got a blanket handy, you just want to roll it up into what I like to call a burrito. So just unfold the towel a little bit and then choose an end and start to roll it up just enough so it can support, the roll supports your neck. Your head's off the roll, so the roll's not a pillow for the back of your head. The roll is a support for the curve, the natural curve of your neck, and your head is off the roll. So either take your towel rolled up, blanket rolled up, or if you have a block, even a foam block, they're not as intense as the wood or the cork blocks if you've got them, but they work as well to release the neck. So if you're using your block, make sure that your head is on the block and your neck is off. Tuck your chin into your chest, and you're going to sort of push where your head and neck meet. You push the corner of the block that's closest to you into that junction point. It's right at the occipital bone, the base of the skull. And then it's just a slow rotation of the head left to right. At first, I like to just go from one side to the other and massage through the superficial tissues. And then once they start to release the sort of outer layers of tissues, then you can start to dig in a bit deeper to your sweet spots. So in Shavasana, but if you want to bring soles of feet together, knees wide, Supta Baddha, feel free to do that for some hips. Or anything else that's comfortable for you. I had a really beautiful shiatsu treatment yesterday with the awesome Melinda. And I haven't had it at one, obviously, since the lockdown, so it's been a good few months. And I thought my body was doing pretty well. I've been, practicing a lot and doing a lot of myofascial release and having baths and meditations and, really making an effort to look after myself physically in these challenging times, mentally and emotionally. And then Melinda started to put pressure where she does, and I didn't realise just how much the body holds the tension that is in the environment. Even though I felt pretty good, it wasn't until someone else started to put pressure on certain places that it really highlighted my body holding tension. We are energetic beings. We absorb the energy of our environment. And so if we live in an environment that's really stressful, tense, naturally our body's going to absorb that. It can't not. That's why these practices are so important, and for me personally, I'm now going to really focus on these yin practices so I can get more in touch with where my body's holding tension and allow that tension to release, because it's going to absorb it, but I have the power to also release it. We've got 5 more breaths, releasing the neck, that occipital release. This is going to turn into a hamstring hammock. If you need more time releasing your neck, then by all means take that. Otherwise, if you don't have a strap head, if you have a strap, set it up with a strap. If you don't need a strap, you can just use your hands. You rest your head on the floor, pick a leg, take it to the sky, interlace your hands around the leg, wherever is appropriate to hold. Otherwise, the strap, big loop, lasso the foot, the sole of the foot. The other end of the strap goes behind the head. Make sure it's not on your neck. Keep your neck safe. Use the weight of your head. If you've got weight bags handy, you can place weight bag on your opposite leg, the leg that's extended. If you don't, doesn't matter. Close your eyes. Use this time to relax the body, even in the poses, even if your body feels like shaking sensations or any kind of sensations in the pose. Just focus on relaxing, softening is probably a better word. Soften into the pose. More conscious awareness you can bring into the softening of the body, the more the body's able to relax. So if the mind's distracted, the body doesn't relax as well, if at all, quite often. The idea or the essence, the goal of this practice is to release. Release tension where you might not even realize tension is being held. By bringing that conscious awareness, softening into the whole body. Five breaths. We're going to do a straight swap over to the other side, but take your time as you transition. So if you're not using a strap, then just swap the legs over. If you're using the strap, swap the strap over. Release it from the head, from the foot, let that leg go long. If you need to take a moment before you swap the leg over, then feel free to do that. Otherwise, set up the other leg. And any props that you brought in with it, weight bags, eye pillows. This practice is about allowing, through conscious awareness, that's the key, allowing tension that the body has absorbed to soften, to release. It's almost like you've got to consciously give your body permission to let go. To soften. Needs to be reminded that it doesn't have to hold on. Again, only as you feel ready, finish off your breathing and allow yourself to release out of this and just lay flat on your back. Always in our balance practice, we want to move slowly. No sudden movements that'll bring in any extra tension. Just a real slow, deliberate softening. This is going to bring us into caterpillar. Again, no rush. So if you need a bit more time wherever you are, then feel free to take it. Otherwise, help yourself up and bring a prop in underneath your knees, whether that's a bolster or a rolled up blanket or a couple of pillows even. And then just fold over your legs and tuck your chin in at the bottom, at the very bottom range of your fold. If you need other props, ultimately you don't need anything. You can just let your head hang, tucking your chin at the end, or you can rest your forehead on your forearms. Or if you have a block, you can bring it on the floor out in front and rest your forehead on it, or on top of the bolster even. For me, my personal practice is an opportunity for a spotlight. Like Melinda's treatment, shiatsu treatment yesterday was a spotlight. These quiet times are a spotlight for us to see what's going on, see clearly with our conscious awareness, that witness state. One, how my body's feeling, where there's tension being held, where I've got some niggles or tight spots or issues that I need to address or pay more attention to, but also mentally, emotionally. It's a spotlight to notice where I'm holding on. To then know where I can start to pay more attention to softening and letting go. seated position, straightening out the spine. Just there for a moment. This next shape that we're going to make has a few components to it, and you can keep it simple or you can add some layers onto it as well. So lift your knees up, slide your prop out from underneath, pop it off to the side. And if you have a ball handy, if you have myofascial release balls, just make sure it's in arm's reach. We won't use it straight away, but just make sure you can reach it easily. The first part of this is we're going to lie down on our back with our hand behind underneath our back. But as you lie down, just make sure that the hand's kind of comfortable in between your shoulder blades and not sort of pushing on anything that's uncomfortable, if you like. So this is like phase one, we'll call it step one. Step two is at a neck stretch. So your left hand is going to reach around to your right ear and it's going to draw your left ear to your shoulder. And then relax your left arm on the floor. So you'll feel there's a rotation happening through the right shoulder, and then a neck stretch. Maybe even if it's just gentle, that's fine. Sometimes less is more because it really gives the body the opportunity to relax. Then we can add in a hip, so bringing your feet flat to the floor, knees to the sky. Toe heeling your feet to the outside edge of your mat. You can drop, doesn't matter which knee you do, but you can drop the opposite knee, so your left knee into the center, keeping the right knee lifted. So this is, we're just building on this. It's really kind of the fourth layer, but final layer is that we can add a ball in to that right shoulder blade. So it means you've got to come out of it. You're going to place the ball in your right hand underneath you, and it's going to find the floor just above your right shoulder blade. Your right hand stays where it is. Legs come back to where they were, and then you come back into the neck stretch. Now this might take you a couple of goes to get the right spot for you. And if you have the range to use your left hand, you can. I've got long arms, so I can effortlessly grab the ball, but see if you can, you don't have to use the ball, it adds just that sort of final layer. But if you can find the right spot, because your shoulder blade is in a winging position because of the shape of your arm, it means that you can get the ball underneath that wing and into some really deep scapular muscles and ligaments, tendons, and even ribs, into your intercostals. Now from here we've got a full 3 minutes. And I do highly recommend that you breathe, especially if you've got the ball into your shoulder blade. Breathe really deep, like you're trying to push your rib cage into that ball on the in-breath. You might feel all sorts of referring sensations. The key, soften. breaths. Make them really big, bigger than normal breath. So you can really feel that pressure of the in-breath, the rib cage, the shoulder blade against the ball if you've got it. Make sure you come out of this really slowly. Bring the hips out of it. Just allow your neck, maybe use that left hand, pushing head back to center. Slide the right arm out and bring the ball out with it as well. Just like that. Allow the body to absorb that for a moment. Notice the difference between your right and left sides after that hold and that release and that stretch and the pressure of the ball. And then we set up the same thing on the other side, so feel free to grab your ball and use it straight away. Otherwise, step one or layer one is the left arm underneath your back. Hands kind of up towards your rib cage, shoulder blade, and make sure your wrist is straight because you're lying flat on it, just to keep it safe and comfortable. Layer number two is the neck stretch. So the right hand draws the right ear to shoulder, using the left side of your head. And you don't have to go very far. Less is more sometimes, as I mentioned before. You might even feel a bit of a nerve tensioning sensation. You can bring the hips into play as well, that internal rotation, using the opposite leg that you used the first round. And then the final layer is if you brought the ball in, then you can bring the ball in this time too. You've got to come out of it though. I like to put the ball in my left hand, and with my hand the way it is, the shoulder blade wings. So it wings out, which means that I can kind of wedge the ball sort of just where the winging action is of the shoulder blade, and it can get into some quite deep tissues. For a lot of people, we can have a lot of knots around that shoulder blade area. So if you find one, then work with it, breathe into it. Softening is the key. Allowing the body to release the tension that it's holding. Comes from a conscious effort. It's not going to do it on its own. It's like you have to give the body permission, allow it to. Notice if you get distracted or your mind wanders for a moment, then you come back and the body has held on to tension again. It's like you've got to keep making the decision. You've got to tell the body to soften. Tell the body to relax. Tell the body to let go. those juicy, big breaths, allowing the rib cage to really put pressure against the ball as you take that deep breath in. And the exhale is the perfect opportunity to release, to soften. Five breaths. Emphasize that expansion of rib cage, pressure against the ball. Again, come out of it really slowly. You don't want to make any sudden movements from, a big kind of release like that, because it's just going to remind the body of the tension that it was holding and more than likely bring it back into that tension. So once you've released out of it, just like that. Again, notice right side to left. How it felt last time we came back to center to now. Maybe that conscious awareness of where tension is being held that I might need to pay more attention to now or later. We've got one more, which is our waterfall. So lifting your hips up, bringing the bolster in underneath the hips, letting your legs float to the sky, and if you have the balls handy, then I do recommend, for one final release, our traps. So with the legs floating up to the sky, you place one ball at the very top of your shoulders either side to release out the top of your neck and shoulders, those big trap muscles. Might take a few goes to find the right spot. Otherwise, just stick to a standard waterfall pose. Bringing healing blood flow and energy to the upper body. Head, neck, thyroid. more breaths here. But as always, having said that, if you want to spend more time here, then you're at home, so by all means, take the time that you need. Everything else can wait. Re-establishing the balance back in the body is so much more important. Otherwise, for those of us who are ready, Shavasana. And your Shavasana can look like anything you want it to, any shape you want to make in the body that you feel would be the most beneficial for your body to come into that deep state of softening. Allowing the body to release tension that it's held onto from your environment. Maybe from your own activities or from your own movement. But allow the softening consciously. If you need more time in this final rest, then take it. Allowing the body to release is vital. The body is going to absorb, it's what it does. Bringing awareness though, insights. It's what our practice is all about, so then we can create more balance by allowing the body to release, to soften. When you feel ready, if you choose to, you can join me at a comfortable seated position on your mat with your palms together at heart center. If you need to roll over onto a side to help yourself up, if you need to open your eyes and close them again once you find your way up to a seated position. And we'll close the practice off with a gentle vibration of Om. Take a breath. Thumbs to third eye center, we bow our heads. My heart honors your heart. When we're in that heartfelt experience together, unity, together we are one, together we say Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for joining me for your practice. I hope you have a beautiful, restful evening and night's sleep, and I'll see you again through the lens or hopefully in person soon. Bye.